A well-known crypto influencer told millions of people face-to-face that XRP would reach $100 before 2026. He didn't say maybe. He didn't say maybe. He said it with complete confidence, and people believed him. They bought more XRP. They told their families. Some of them moved money that they couldn't afford to lose. XRP is worth $139 right now. That guess was wrong, not just wrong. It was wrong by 98%. And this is the part that should worry you. Someone is still telling you to hold, still telling you that the big change is coming, still making big promises, but what he doesn't say is much more important than anything he's ever said on camera. And in a few minutes, I'll show you exactly what that is. If you own XRP and want to know the truth about where it's really going and what the smart money is doing while everyone else is freaking out, make sure to subscribe because I post daily XRP analysis that doesn't hold back. Before we go any further, I need to be very clear about something. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I don't want to start any trouble. As an XRP holder, I am here to give you the information you need. The information that will help you make money instead of just making you feel good. Because there is a huge difference between strategy and conviction. And right now, most XRP content is meant to keep you emotionally involved without giving you any steps you can take. Think about what you've been watching. How many times have you heard someone say, XRP will change the world? The institutions are on their way. Ripple is helping to rebuild the world's financial system. You know all of that by heart. And guess what? A lot of it is real. But here's the question that no one is asking. If all of that is true, then why is XRP worth $139, which is more than 60% less than its all-time high of $365? Why did the Fear and Greed Index just reach 8, which is very high, and the second lowest reading in more than a year? And why are people who own stocks in stores selling them in a panic when something very different is going on behind the scenes? That's what he isn't telling you. Let me show you the numbers. There are currently 7 spot XRP ETFs that trade in the US. 7. Together, they have about 796 million XRP tokens and manage more than $1 billion in assets. In the first week of February, XRP ETFs brought in $51 million in net inflows. And here's the best part. During that same time period, Bitcoin ETF saw money leave. There were outflows from the Ethereum ETF. There were outflows from the Solana ETF. XRP was the only big crypto asset that saw more money coming in than going out of ETFs. The XRP ETF from Franklin Templeton brought in about $23.7 million. Bitwise brought in about $20 million. XRP is not losing institutional money, it's running toward it. Since the launch of the ETF on November 25th, total inflows have reached more than $123 billion. If this is a dead asset, then BlackRock, KK's custodian Anchorage, and every major fund manager filing for XRP exposure must have missed the memo. If this is hitting you differently right now, hit the like button, because most people aren't seeing this data. This is where things get even more interesting. The amount of XRP on exchanges has gone down from about 3.76 billion tokens in October 2025 to about 1.7 billion by early February 2026. In just 4 months, that means there is 55% less supply on exchanges. What happened to those tokens? They were put in cold storage. They were put in the care of an institution. They went into ETF safes. Since January, wallets with more than 1 billion XRP have been steadily adding to their holdings, going from 23.35 billion XRP to 23.49 billion XRP. Since the beginning of 2026, wallets with between 10 million and 100 million XRP have added 190 million tokens. Since January 1st, whale and retail addresses have taken in more than $1 billion worth of XRP. Let me say that again. Since the start of this year, big holders have collected more than $1 billion in XRP. While small investors were selling in a panic and complaining about the price, whales were filling their trucks. This is exactly what happened before XRP's 47% rise in the first half of 2025. The same thing happened. Whales buys fear, retail sells fear, and then retail buys it back at a higher price 3 months later, wondering why they always lose. Leave a comment right now. Are you buying XRP at these prices? Or are you thinking about selling? I'd like to know what you're thinking because your answer will tell me a lot about which side of this trade you'll end up on. This is what really annoys me about the $100 XRP prediction. It wasn't wrong. All the time, predictions are wrong. I was wrong. Every analyst has made a mistake. That's not the problem. The problem is that the prediction was given with a lot of insider information. There were hints that there were 1,700 non-disclosure agreements with banks, governments, and Fortune 500 companies. People said that big companies were secretly buying XRP and that the current price was just a shadow of what was to come. They made financial decisions based on this certainty. The market cap of XRP would have to be more than $6 trillion for it to reach $100. That's more than all the cryptocurrencies in the world put together. It's bigger than both Apple and Microsoft. Did the audience ever get an explanation of that math? No. Was there ever a warning that this would need a market cap that no current financial model can reach? No. You got conviction instead of insider knowledge. And that's the difference between someone who wants to help you and someone who wants you to keep watching. I want to be fair though, because here's the thing. What was said in that viral interview is mostly true. The idea that institutions will use XRP for cross-border payments is not wrong. Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is now worth $1.52 billion on the market. In less than 6 months, that's a 100% rise. Binance just added RLUSD to the XRP ledger. Ripple has more than 75 licenses from regulators around the world. One of these is an EMI license from Luxembourg that covers all 30 countries in the European Economic Area. Ripple Payments has handled more than $70 billion in transactions. The SEC settlement made XRP a commodity in secondary markets. These things are true. The basics are real, but if you don't have a plan, they're just copium. That's what no one wants to say out loud. This is what I mean. Can I ask you something? How much XRP do you really need to own? 2. What is the exact target for your exit? How much do you charge to make your first profit? At what price do you take your original investment back? Where are you putting those profits? Do you have a plan for your taxes? Is your XRP in a safe place? If you can't answer all of those questions right now, then no amount of bullish conviction will help you. This is what the data says about what happens to people who make money without a plan. Within 3 to 5 years, 70% of people who win the lottery go broke. People in the XRP community have been told over and over that a huge transfer of wealth is coming, but almost no one has been given a plan for what to do when it happens. That's the space. That's what he isn't telling you. Not because he's a bad person, but because strategy doesn't spread quickly. Hope does. So, here's what they won't tell you. Standard Chartered says that XRP will be worth $8 by the end of 2026. That means that $4 to $8 billion must come into the ETF, which is a lot, but not impossible given the current momentum. Different AI forecast models say that XRP will be worth between $2.50 and $5 in 2026, with some going as high as $8 to $14. The average consensus is about $3.90 if all the catalysts go off at the same time. Is that $100? No. Is it still a huge chance at $139? Of course. If it goes up to $4 from here, that's almost 3 times your money back. A jump to $8 is close to 6x. If you have 10,000 XRP and the price goes up to $8, that position is worth $80,000. Not everyone will have their life changed, but this is a real return based on real institutional forecasts, not made-up math. This is what I want you to do. Right now, I want you to write down 3 numbers. Your first goal for making money is the price at which you can get your original investment back. The percentage you will always keep as a bag, no matter what. You are not investing if you don't have those 3 numbers. This is not advice about money. I don't give financial advice. But I can tell you that every rich person I've looked into has a plan for how to get out. They don't just guess. They don't hold on to hope forever. They have a plan and they follow through with it. Send this video to an XRP holder you know who is still waiting for $100. They need to hear this. Now let me show you the future, because this is really exciting. If you look at the big picture, the Senate is likely to vote on the Clarity Act. which would be the first full set of laws for digital assets in the US. The SEC ruling already made XRP's legal status clear, but the Clarity Act would make it clear for the whole market. It also talks about the 20% token concentration rule, which stops one entity from controlling too much supply. That's good news for decentralization. That makes XRP look good. Ripple is also adding new staking integrations to its custody platform, which will let banks offer Ethereum and Solana staking without having to run validators. They're putting together the infrastructure layer that all banks will need. In a time when Tether is getting more and more attention, RLUSD is being marketed as a regulated alternative to it. If even a small part of Tether's $140 billion market cap moves into regulated stablecoins like RLUSD, it will be a huge boost for the whole XRP ledger ecosystem. And no one is talking about the compression of the exchange supply. When there are 55% fewer tokens available on exchanges and ETF inflows and whale accumulation are steady, you have a supply squeeze set up. It hasn't happened yet because retail sentiment is still very scared. But when sentiment changes, which it always does, the math favors a big move up because the sellers have already sold. Do you think XRP will reach $5 by the end of 2026? Please leave a comment below saying yes or no. I want to know what this community thinks. This is my honest opinion. I believe that those who are currently in XRP and have a solid plan will do very well. I also think that people who are currently holding XRP based on hope and promises from influencers are going to make the same mistakes that 70% of lottery winners do. The asset is not what makes the difference. The strategy is what makes the difference. Don't let someone else's wrong guess keep you from getting what you want. The information is clear. The institutions are growing. The supply is getting smaller. The legal framework is coming together, and the fundamentals have never been stronger. But none of that matters if you don't have a plan. So do it. And if you need help with that, make sure to subscribe because every video on this channel is designed to give you the tactical edge that the hype channels won't. Want to be ahead in technology? Join my XRP army to get access to my weekly analysis and XRP trade targets that are only for members. It's like paying for 2 coffees a month for data that the public never sees. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and share this with someone who needs to hear the truth. I'll see you next time.